everyone. My name is Marissa Stone, owner of the Systems Lounge and host of the brand spanking new Women's Biz Systems podcast. And I want to welcome you today to the 2019 Premier International Women's Business Systems Virtual Summit, where you get to learn all about the business systems that our speakers are using to systematize and scale their businesses. And right now, I am super stoked to have Melinda Martin here. She is going to talk with us all about designing your sales page to success. Now, Melinda Martin is a nurse by trade who took her heart for helping others and started what she called Statement Media, a company that creates truly empowering messages that are changing the world. She works with mission-driven businesses to create compelling content that captivates the hearts and souls of their customers. And this actually empowers them to become part of the movement so that they can impact their clients. Melinda believes your voice is the most powerful platform that you're given, and each of us can make a choice to use it for the greater good. After 4 years working as a nurse educator in medical sales, she is now using all her experience to help purpose-driven entrepreneurs close the sale in their business by crafting their own empowering messages so that their clients are super excited to sign up. And inside this session, you're going to learn the exact steps and strategies that she teaches her clients so that you can learn how to create your own sales page to success too. Melinda, I am super stoked to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. I am so thrilled to be here.
Woohoo! So let's just begin at the beginning. For some people who perhaps do not know, what is a sales page? Because this is very different from our web page, right?
Correct. Yes. The web page is more presenting you and how you help people. And the sales page takes a different angle and really is all about empowering your audience and your customer through a purchasing decision so that they're excited and ready to jump in and say yes to your offers.
Yeah, and I love that because it's literally one of the first steps in your customer journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's apply this to entrepreneurship for a moment. I've got a website. Why should I be concerned with having a sales page? You alluded to a little bit of this, but let's dive a little deeper.
Yeah. So the reason for a sales page, I think it's so great because it's a focused conversation that you get to have with your audience.
Yeah.
I like to think, and I think all of us can relate when we say it is way more fun to go shopping with a friend. So this is sort of like your virtual conversation with your audience. That's your friend in this journey. And how can you talk to them through this buying choice so that they are excited and ready to say yes to that purchase?
For sure. And I love that you say it that way because that's really what we're trying to do here. We're trying to meet that prospect and take them through, by the hand and lead them into our company. And I love how you use the sales page as that conversation. That is absolutely brilliant. Yes. So you tell your clients that they have all these amazing products and services, but without the right message, their offers are going to continue to fall through. Talk with us about how a sales page can actually help me relay the right message.
Definitely. So the sales page, and if you think about it as this conversation you're having with your audience, you're able to share a message with them that allows them to know that you get them at the heart of who they are. And you understand those deeper struggles and challenges and how that's affecting their life. But not only do you understand their challenges, but you've created a solution specifically for them. And you can talk them through that and how it's going to improve their lives or their businesses and focus in on that so that they're knowing that they're in the right place by working with you.
Yeah. And I love that because I think that's a big piece of, people do businesses with people.
Yes.
They don't do business with a website or with a brick and mortar, store, or, they do business with people that they can actually speak with, connect with, and build a rapport with. Mm-hmm. And what I'm hearing you say is that this sales page actually gives me that opportunity to create a virtual conversation with that prospect.
Yes, exactly. And it's so exciting because what other piece of copy do we have so much attention on from our audience that we can take the time to sort of hold their hand through this big decision. Some people are excited, and as soon as they know about it, they're ready to sign up for your offers. And other people need a little bit of a push, or just a supportive friend nudging them in the right direction, especially if it's an offer that maybe means that they're having to admit some things to themselves before they're saying yes to. So say you're in the fitness space and you're encouraging someone to take action to start being healthier, and you can get into even more specifics of that. But that would mean that this individual is having to sort of internally admit to themselves that they're not at a goal that they want to be at. And sometimes that's a hard thing to do. So recognizing the position your audience is in, and then helping them through your messaging, create that connection and draw them further into what you have to offer.
Yeah, and only 3% of your audience is the shut up and take my money group.
Yes.
Like, you want to really, and 30% of your audience is absolutely no. So that 67% in between, those are the people that you're talking to with regard to this sales page, So I love that you explain it like that. Okay, so you say that I can share a message that empowers my audience, my cause, and my business all at once. Talk with us for a moment about what components of my message should be on my sales page so that I accomplish those 3 goals.
Definitely. And I think the biggest thing with this is that everything coming together in alignment. So as a business owner, you think of yourself, who you are and how you help people, which has a lot to do with that bigger mission and purpose behind what you're doing.
Right.
So in this sense, on a sales page, we have to flip it to be the words that our audience needs to hear. And so you're also looking to them, and what is it that they are hoping to accomplish? What goals do they have? And creating a message that aligns with all of those things. So we want this sales page to be a very comprehensive piece of copy that our audience can identify themselves in, create deeper connection with you. So you're still talking about your experiences, but only in the way in which it creates an example for your audience, shows what's possible for them through working with you. And then going further to build out what are those objections that everyone has. Everyone has an objection. So we want to be sure we are addressing them head on and not shying away from that, like many people make the mistake of. And then at the end, I think it's creating this empowering message. So rather than sort of, okay, great, please sign up to work with me now, it's no, how can you really boost them as a person and uplift what's possible for their lives and make them excited to jump in.
And I love your approach because it feels so empowering. And that's totally what I'm trying to accomplish in all the things that I'm doing. Okay, so I have my message down. How do I truly stand out in this sea of noise? Because it is very noisy in the online space.
Yes.
How do I stand out to ensure that my audience actually hears and receives the message I'm trying to share?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it is very noisy right now, right? All
so
the
crazy.
Decided to jump into the lake at one time, and we're like, okay, how can we even swim within all of this?
Right.
There's 2 things that come up here for me. So the first one is bring all of your personality out. I think people shy away from being all of who they are because they start shoulding themselves. You hear it like, oh, I should be more professional, or I should have these pieces, but just be authentically you and pull out that personality in your copy, in your messaging. So I've had clients who are very vibrant and bold, and they cuss up a storm. And so we don't try to hide that at all. We just embrace it and polish it off because that's who they are. And if you're signing up, say in this situation, it was for a coaching client, that's who they're going to be interacting with anyway. So you want to be authentic. And I think showcasing that personality within your copy or your content really distinguishes you from anybody else who's doing the same thing. And then with that too, have the second tip I would say is give yourself full permission to be bold. So when I say that, a lot of people sort of shrink their message to fit how everyone else is saying it.
Yeah.
But what makes you unique is your perspective. And if that's totally against the grain, then say it that way. You can admit the truth because you've also you've brought in and created those connections with your audience. And so you're wanting to just be raw and share that. An example that I have is a parenting coach that I've been working with. She isn't saying, let me teach you how to raise happy children. She's saying, let me teach you how to be a better parent so your children are happy. So it's a slight switch, but it's really a more bold approach because it's just against the grain of what a lot of other people are saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's really what your goal is as a parent, to be the best you can possibly be so that your kids are happy and growing and thriving and, help children. So yeah, I like that. That's totally, I can see how that can be a big change, even though you're only talking about a couple of small words.
Definitely. Yeah. And just feel free to embrace the difference that you see, because really in business, that's what we're doing, right? We're filling the gaps that we see a hole in. Yeah. And so be honest in those holes that you see in your approach to making a solution for them.
Nice. I love it. So you actually also tell clients that simply slapping on a price tag on a checkout page is not enough to convince your audience to opt in. How does the sales page go beyond the price tag to really help buyers to understand that this is truly what they need? So let's just use me, for instance. Nobody wants to do systems. Nobody likes them. Nobody thinks they're sexy or fun or cool. But they understand after we sit down and have our conversation that these are foundational pieces that every business owner needs to have in place. How in the world do I help them to understand that on a sales page when they've never even had an opportunity to talk to me?
Yeah. And I think that's the brilliance of a sales page. So exactly how you just said, if we were talking face to face, they would understand it and your personality would shine through, and how you're talking, it would flow in a certain way about things. You want your sales page to be the same thing. It's almost like that coffee chat with a friend that you're helping through a struggle that they have. You're helping them to see things a little bit differently and see it as the solution that you're offering, and then empowering them to take those next steps. So a lot of it is thinking of it as this conversation with people. And I always use the example of, if you're going to a shoe store, say you're going to Nordstrom's and you see a super cute pair of shoes that you're just super excited for when you immediately see them. And you're like, oh my gosh, I need these cute pair of red pumps because they'd go great with this dress I have for date nights or out on town with girlfriends. And then you start to think of all the reasons why you shouldn't buy them. Sure. And that you start going to a rabbit hole. Well, they're a little bit out of my budget and I have this other thing coming up and I can make the ones I have do, but you really want them. Like, you can feel that emotion into it. And so within that, you're then at that crossroads. Okay, am I going to say yes or no? And this if you had that best friend that you're sitting down that's coming with you, they would encourage you to just say yes. Just say yes already, right?
Just buy the shoes. Short.
And I know, like you said, systems are a little less sexy to talk about than a cute pair of red heels, but it's the same concepts of how would I talk to, and I like to say, think of your audience as a best friend. How would you nurture them and connect with them and talk to them so that they see the value, they can now think in this new perspective that you're offering them, and they're wanting to take action on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you put it that way, because I think so many women are, they don't want to be salesy. They don't want to be pushy. They would rather be able to support and empower their audience. And that's exactly what you're talking about doing in this virtual conversation that we're having.
Yes. And I think, like we said at the beginning of this, when you are just slapping a price tag on, I think that comes across as more salesy and sleazy, because it's like, oh, just buy from me, sort of. Yeah. Then versus connecting and nurturing your audience a bit more through your sales page.
For sure. So you say there's actually a framework to writing this compelling sales page so that it empowers your audience to sign up and work with you. And I know we're going to dive much deeper into this in the next interview, but can you give us an overview? What is this framework and how can we use it to build our own sales page to success?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about it as these conversations that you're having as if you were going shoe shopping. The same mindset holds true with any person that's buying. So first and foremost, your audience needs to know that they're in the right place. So the initial step of the framework is getting clear on your audience and start writing to them and addressing their concerns and struggles and not objections yet, but their concerns, struggles. Let them know that they're in the right place so that they want to keep reading on.
Yeah.
And then it's presenting yourself as this authority, but not above anyone, sort of like who's going to comfort them and guide them through this.
Yeah.
That's presenting yourself next, and then presenting your offer. So what is it that's your unique solution here?
Mm-hmm.
And diving into that and positioning it to be the best for your audience, not for anyone else's, but for the people that you want to help.
Yeah.
After that, the fourth step is addressing objections and just calling them out, and creating them as actually reasons why people should take action right now, rather than waiting in the struggle or pain a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then lastly is sort of like your empowering push. I call it like your little pep talk at the end that really gets people excited and wanting to take that next step.
I love it. I love it. And that sounds so much easier to follow to me than this regimented sales page that has to have all these components. You know, I really like that you are describing literally a conversation with a friend. And all we're doing is we're moving it from the physical space to the virtual space. And I love that.
Yeah, and you can break it down really technical if you want to, but the thing is, most of us who are business owners or the people that you're talking to, they're not technical. They're just people like we are. And so I think there's so much more power when you're addressing it as a person-to-person conversation than trying to make it really formal or go about it in a technical way.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. This has been absolutely brilliant, as I knew it would be. I know we're going to take a much deeper dive into this topic in the next interview, but is there anything else we need to know right now about creating this sales page to success?
Yeah, I think the first thing I tell anyone who's just starting off on their sales page is you have to know your audience.
Yeah.
Who it is that you want to work with, and not just as a simplistic overview level, such as where do they like to shop and what do they do and how much money do they make, but really digging into the hearts of what are their struggles, how does that make them feel, and how's that affecting their whole entire life? Because people buy off of emotions. We really want to know our audience so well and tap into that before we take these next steps in writing the message.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you guys have heard, know your audience, know your ideal client, know your ideal avatar, you know, so many times, but it's such a crucial step when you're going into business. One of my favorite stories is I was at a conference with Callan Rush, who teaches you content-based or education-based marketing. And she actually identified for herself, it's a multi-million-dollar business. She identified 3 distinct audiences that she was reaching out to and working with. Well, as she got into it, she recognized that the audience kind of in the middle, I don't know exactly what position they were in, but that second audience, she really just wasn't getting what she needed from them, as far as, you know, your goal as a business owner is to work with those people who you really connect with, who, you know, fill your soul, you know, who feed your soul. And she just wasn't feeling it with that audience. So she simply removed the marketing to that audience, and she continued working with audience 1 and 3. And that was kind of the first aha moment to me that, wow, I really get to choose who I want to work with. Like, this is, you know, and what I'm hearing you say is you can utilize this tool inside your sales page to really reach out to that audience.
Yeah, you can get very specific here so that you're targeting the exact person that you're hoping to reach.
Yeah, and I love that. Wow. Melinda, this has been phenomenal, as I knew it would be. Before we let you go, how can people reach out to you? Let's say they want to pick your brain a little bit more about creating their own copy on their own sales page, access some of your resources, or perhaps just throw up their hands and say, do this for me. How can they reach out to you?
Definitely. Well, we help in all the ways. With Done For You, we have a copy course as well. So I would love it if people did. I love getting to chat and connect with more entrepreneurs, but you can reach me at statementmedia.co. That's our website, as well as our Instagram handle. So just statementmedia.co.
Wonderful. Guys, definitely click on the links below and take advantage of some of the resources that Melinda is sharing with you right now, because it is crucially important that you get your story down so that you can make sure when you build out your sales page, you're talking to your ideal client. It is truly the only way to systematize and scale your business. Now, for those of you who are part of the All Access Pass, stick around, because we are going to be taking a much deeper dive into all the logistics and those intricate details with Melinda in just a few moments. In order to do so, you're going to have to grab that All Access Pass. There's a button below this video that allows you to do that. And not only are you going to get all of the versions of these live videos that you're watching right now, but you're going to get every single deeper dive that I take with every single speaker. And I guarantee you are not going to want to miss that one. Melinda, it has been phenomenal hanging out with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Wonderful. Guys, we will see you in the next interview. And until then, remember, you've got this. I can help. Bye, everyone.